All right, good morning or good day. We're here for another page of transcription of J.G. Zimmermann's Solitude, written in or published in 1799, translated into English with all the all the warts and etc. These are photocopied pages. The pages include all kinds of errors and old English writing style that we really need to update. And today we're going to work on page 20. So let's bring the work up on the screen. So over here on the left is the document that I'm working on. And over here on the right is the actual photocopy, the photographed paper, a PDF of the page that we're going to transcribe. So let us begin. I'll make this a little bigger so that you can see the whole thing. So typically what I do is I will, to preserve the structure of the original document, I will add a new page here, insert, page break. Good, starting off on a brand new page. So that word there, the advantage, so take advantage. So I need to take that away. This word advantage up here, started off, was cut off between the two pages. So I'll start it down here. Advantage, patient please, thank you. Of its errors. Interesting, look at that first word there. Let's bring this up a little bit so it's roughly equal. Okay, cherish. And in the original document, it's CHERIFH. Okay, so that F needs to be an S, of course. Cherish. Goodnesses. Look at, isn't it interesting how they put a space between this semicolon, right? Before the semicolon, like this. Applaud its superstition. The F at the front. It'd be Fuperpfiffen, comma, and defend its vices. There should be a period there, but there is none. See, this is what makes it so difficult to read. I read this book a year ago, or last year, and it was a challenge to read because of all of these differences in the way that they did things. So that's the whole purpose of this effort, is to update it and make it readable, and bring it back because it's simply not available in print anymore. Fashionable circles may perhaps welcome such characters as their best supporters and highest ornaments, but to them calm and tranquil pleasures of retirement are dreary and disgusting. So Google didn't like this, or the Microsoft Word didn't like me having that comma there. It wants this removed, I think. Let's see. Yeah. Nope, we're going to keep it in because it's in there. And welcome should be welcome. Okay, and supporters should be supporters. Great. And that's their best supporters. Okay, so continuing from up above, it says that sentence is it's a long sentence. Beginning right here. Their attention is sedulious, a new word for me yesterday. I had to look that up. That means persistent. Their attention is sedulously called in every quarter, in order to prop up the unsubstantial fabric, they bend with mean submission to the pride of power, flatter the vanity, and accommodate themselves to the vices of the great. Censure the genius that provokes their jealousy, ridicule the virtue that shames the conduct of their patrons, submit to all the follies of the age, take advantage of its errors, cherish its prejudices, applaud its superstition, and defend its vices. The fashionable circles may, perhaps, welcome such characters as their best supporters and highest ornaments, but to them the calm and tranquil pleasures of retirement are dreary and disgusting. Yeah, so those that wish to be a part of the acclaim of the of the celebrated have to do all of the aforementioned all this stuff up here, right? Flatter the vanity, accommodate themselves to the vices, censure the genius that provokes their jealousy, their own genius, right? So be quiet their own minds, ridicule the virtue that shames the conduct of their patrons. So if you even if you are virtuous, more virtuous than the wonderful person that you admire, you calm that, you keep that under lock and key so that you don't shame them, and submit to all the follies of the ages, just so that you can be one of the inner circle. Ralph Waldo Emerson talks about this exact same thing in his Self-Reliance, in his book Self-Reliance. The fashionable circles may perhaps welcome such characters, so such people will welcome such sycophants to their circle, to their inner circles, as their best supporters and highest ornaments. But to them, the calm and tranquil pleasures of retirement are dreary and disgusting. So they're probably not going to appreciate retirement. In this case, not being retirement, like no longer working, but of solitude, time alone. Very, very well written. I love it. Okay, new line. One, all those indeed whom vice has betrayed into guilt, and whose bosoms are stung by the adders of remorse. Isn't that interesting how he uses these capitals? Solitude, S. Solitude is doubly terrible, semicolon, and they fly from its shade to scenes of worldly pleasure, in the hope of being able to silence the keen reproaches of violated conscience in the tumults of society. Period. Bang bang, and then we play dash period. The M dash in. Come on, you can do it. Give us an M dash. There we go. There we go. And so modern. Word processor doesn't quite know what to do with this old-fashioned structure. Vein. That. Oh, and I see a comment. Basically Coffee says, "Good morning, sir." Hello. Good morning, Basically Coffee. Not that much, Des. Hey, Kurt. No time today. Very sorry, but Tokyo is on. Tokyo Tonight is on. Oh yes, with what's his name? Victor's friend, Hiko Simon. All right. Well, enjoy. Let's read this. To all those indeed whom vice has betrayed into guilt, and whose bosoms are stung by the adders of remorse, Solitude is doubly terrible, and they fly from its shades to scenes of worldly pleasure in the hope of being able to silence the keen reproaches of violated conscience in the tumults of society. Vain attempt. Wow. Great, 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 great. So all those indeed whom vice has betrayed into guilt. So those who the aforementioned who have given up their own virtue in order to be in the inner circles of the the cultured and the elite and the celebrated, and whose bosoms are stung by the adders of remorse, and who are going, gosh, why did I do this? Solitude is doubly terrible. They can't stand to be alone because because it just reminds them of that remorse just becomes there, and they fly from its shades to scenes of worldly pleasure. So they run from the solitude, from the time alone, to places where others are, in the hopes of being able to silence the keen reproaches of violated conscience in the tumults of society. Vain attempt. Yes, vain attempt indeed. Good luck with that. Beautiful, beautiful writing. Okay, now we've got maybe a poem. So we'll use the structure here. I'm going to give a instead of using the quotation marks at the start of every line, I'll just use one at the beginning and at the end. A more conventional structure. Set it off. Oh, it is already an 8-point font, so this is the one that needs to be a 10-point font, I think. Yeah, hold on. I always do that. Yeah, that's the case. This should all be 10-point here. Always messing that up. This too should be 10-point. Now we're down to 8-point. Good. Guilt is the source of sorrow. Bang. Bang. 'Tis the fiend. The with th with an apostrophe. Gene being that follows them behind. It's interesting. Period. The blessed know none of this, but rest in everlasting peace of mind, and find the height of all that there. That's there. Have and is good. He ran out of space, but I'm not running out of space. That it'll be confusing if I put a carriage return in there or a new line in there. Bang across. Let's bring that down. Let's read that. Guilt is the sorrow. Guilt is the source of sorrow. 'Tis the fiend, the avenging fiend. You have to shorten that the avenging fiend that follows them behind with not ships, whips, with whips and stings. The blessed know none of this, but rest in everlasting peace of mind and find the height of all their heaven is goodness. Yeah. Okay. So just reflecting the above, that those that do give into that, to the the wish to be, in the inner circle of the recognized, they're going to have guilt and sorrow. It's the fiend that follows them and whips them and stings them. But those that choose not that path can find a peace, everlasting peace, nonetheless, in in the height of all their heaven in goodness and being good. Okay, yeah, it's kind of a it's I don't know. What is that? It doesn't. It's not too deep a poem to me, but it reflects the sentiment above. And I certainly I agree with the message. Here we go. Solitude, solitude, comma, indeed, comma, as religion. Here, religion is brought into the picture, huh? With capitals. Religion has been represented in such dismal, comma, disagreeable colors. Keep that British spelling or American spelling. Colors. I'm going to go with the Americans. Colors by those who were incapable of tasting its sweets. Comma, and enjoying its advantages, comma, that any dismiss it totally from all their schemes of happiness, comma, and fly to it only to alleviate the bitterness of some momentary passion, comma, or temporary adversity, comma, or to hide the blushes of blushes of approaching approaching shame. But charm may, but there are advantages to be derived. Let's look at that. Solitude. There's a comma there. Solitude, indeed, as well as religion, has been represented in such dismal, disagreeable colors by those who were incapable of tasting its sweets and enjoying its advantages, that many dismiss it totally from all their schemes of happiness. Is that what it says? Yeah. And fly to it only to alleviate the bitterness of some momentary passion or temporary adversity, or to hide the blushes of approaching shame. But there are advantages to be derived, and then the next bit begins on the next page, which we'll do tomorrow. So I get that. So let's see, the meaning of that is that solitude, and he brings religion in. I think he sees that as kind of a similar type of a place of sanctity, of course, and both refuge. So both of those have been tainted with a disagreeable color by those who don't know how to make good use of both either solitude or religion, and dismiss it from their scheme of happiness, and fly and go to it only as a source of relief from the pain of life, to hide the blush of the bad things that they've done. Let's read the whole sentence, the whole page. Okay, we'll start with, make that a little smaller. I'm not going to start with I'm not going to continue with the sentence from above. We'll start right there. The fashionable circles may, perhaps, welcome such characters as their best supporters and highest ornaments, but to them the calm and tranquil pleasures of retirement are dreary and disgusting. To all those, indeed, whom vice has betrayed into guilt, and whose bosoms are stung by the adders of remorse, solitude is doubly terrible, and they fly from its shades to schemes of worldly pleasure in the hope of being able to silence the keen reproaches of violated conscience in the tumults of society. Vain attempt. Guilt is the source of sorrow. 'Tis the fiend, the avenging fiend, that follows them behind with whips and stings. The blessed know none of this, but rest in everlasting peace of mind, and find the height of all their heaven in goodness. Solitude, indeed, as well as solitude, indeed, as well as religion, has been represented in such dismal, disagreeable colors by those who were incapable of tasting its sweets and enjoying its advantages, that many dismiss it totally from their schemes of happiness, and fly to it only to alleviate the bitterness of some momentary passion or temporary adversity, or to hide the blushes of approaching shame. But there are advantages to be derived. Okay, I think we did it. Let's bring this back over here. Oh, I got a comment. Wow, now I'm all messed up. Look at that. Wrong button. Wow, I found your channel again after years. I still remember your Suzumebachi video. Yeah, that was a fun video. The on the finger and all, and then again on the nose. Glad you found me again. Okay, well, thank you for joining me for another uh, another page transcription of yet another page of Johann Zimmermann's Solitude. We have completed page 20. Tomorrow we'll be moving on to page 21, which, hey, is that the end of the introduction? That's the end. No, two more pages. And then we'll be at the end of the introduction. And then, I got a question. Oni One 3 says, sorry if I get that wrong, just came in. Are you translating a book? Not translating, transcribing. So it's in English, but it was originally written in Swiss. Then it was written in English, translated in English in 1790, and published in 1799. But it's a very old style of English that's very difficult to read. These are actual photocopies of the book from 1799. You can't get this book in modern publication. So if you want to read this book, you have to read it in this old, archaic, difficult style with strange punctuation, strange spelling. It's a photocopy. There are whole sections that are like blurred and missing. So I've decided that I'm going to bring this old book into the modern world by every day. I'm going to transcribe one page into modern English, and in the end, when I'm done, then I'll publish it and share it with the world. Publish it, and make it available so that people can read this beautiful book. I read it last year and I enjoyed it so much, and I was sad that it would be hard for anybody else to read it because it's so old and no longer available. So that's what I'm doing. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for another page of transcription. Take care.